Hey guys, welcome back to Treadmill Review Guru. Today we're going to take a look at the Botorro R5 folding treadmill. As you can see, this is more of a compact treadmill. It's great for petite users, works really well for walking, and has a really cool feature where you can actually lower the handlebars. So let's take a closer look at some of the different aspects of the Botorro R5. So the Botorro R5 is best suited for people who plan to walk. It has a 2.5 horsepower motor, so it's really good for walking. It also is well suited for petite users. So, and by petite, we mean like 5'6" or less as far as height, simply because it does have a little bit of a shorter walking surface, and it's designed to just be very compact and usable. It also works really well for people who want something simple. You don't want a subscription, you just want a very basic console with a few handy buttons. This is a really good option. We probably don't recommend this for taller users. The belt itself is only 18.5 inches wide and roughly 50 inches long, so you do have a limited stride length on that. So just a few things to be aware of if you're considering this machine. So let's take a closer look at the overall construction of the Botorro R5. This is a compact treadmill, but it's also quite sturdy. I was actually really kind of impressed with how it feels when you're on the machine. So a few things to be aware of. It does have a 2.5 horsepower motor tucked up there at the top of the walking surface, and it's very quiet. So we'll demo that for you in a minute, but this doesn't feel cheap and rickety. The motor is quiet. You have a nice supportive deck with 14 shock absorption underneath. The belt has just a lightly textured surface. In fact, this is probably one of my preferred textures because it's not super grippy, but just enough that you've got a good foothold as it moves along. As I mentioned, it's not super large. You only have 18.5 inches of width and roughly 50 inches of length, but it's perfect for walking. And another thing that I really like about it is this is probably one of the lowest step-up heights of any treadmill that I've tested. It is only 4.5 inches from the floor to the top of the treadmill. So it's very easy to get on and off, and would work really well for anybody that maybe has limited mobility, knee or hip issues. That makes it nice and very usable. It only weighs about 115 pounds, so this isn't super heavy, but Botorro advertises that it will support up to 265 pounds. So we're gonna test that later with a user that's a little bit larger than I am, and just kind of give you an idea of how it supports different weights. It starts at about 0.6 miles an hour and will go up in increments to a top speed of 9 miles an hour. So you do still get some pretty good speed options on this. And you just have really simple tactile buttons on the console that are easy to see and they're easy to use. It's not overly difficult, which is something I really like as well. The overall footprint, so it's not very large. It's only 31 inches wide. It's roughly 62 inches long. When the handlebars are raised to their top point right here, it's about 47 inches tall. If you collapse the whole thing flat, it folds down to only 8 inches high. So it really does collapse almost flat. You could tuck it possibly behind an elevated or underneath an elevated bed. You could put it really out of the way when you're not using it. So one of the great things about the Botorro R5 is there is no assembly required. It comes completely pre-assembled. All you do is roll it out of the box, which is my preferred form of assembly. Also, Botorro does cover this treadmill with a 12-month warranty on parts. Okay, so let's take a closer look at the console. As you can see, it's very simple, but there's some features about it I really like. First of all, I really like these silicone-lined water bottle holders. They have a little bit of an expansive bottom to them, so I can drop a water bottle in there, and even if I run, if it moves around, it doesn't rattle. Something that I have noticed about with other treadmills is they'll have nice, large water bottle pockets, but then your water bottle rattles a little while you run. So I do like that kind of silicone lining. You also have the same lining on the back of the tablet shelf. So if you put a tablet there or a phone, it will sit nicely and secure and doesn't rattle, doesn't move, and isn't gonna fall off. So that's just a few things they've kind of thought of. This also does have a little bit of a lip to it, so I'm not sure if you can see, but it does have a little bit of a lip. So you can kind of tuck your device down in there and it will hold it securely. And the other thing I like is that you can angle the console display. So you can kind of adjust it based on your height and based on, glare or whatever. So that's kind of a nice feature as well. It is Bluetooth enabled, which actually surprised me for a treadmill that's, over kind of simple like this. I was impressed with one, the fact that it syncs with Bluetooth, and two, that it has pretty good speakers. So let me demo for you real quick. I'm hooked up here to a song. So let me start that for you.
I get up, I get down.
So I'm gonna turn it up.
And the rumpus and rock is so comfortable now. Been a hell of a ride, but I'm thinking it's time to grow.
So it doesn't have a volume, it doesn't have a volume bar on here. So that is one thing to kind of be aware of. It doesn't tell you how close you are to the top volume, how close you are to the bottom volume, but you do have the option to adjust your volume on the screen. You can also do it on your phone. Either one will work. And actually the speakers are pretty good. So they really don't get fuzzy. You have pretty good sound, which is nice. You know, you can listen to a book on tape or listen to a program or even just music while you walk. So down here on the bottom, you can see this is a very basic digital display. You have speed right here. So if I start the machine, it's gonna give me just a quick countdown, and then we'll start it at like 2 miles an hour. So right here at 2 miles an hour, it tells me that it's climbing to the speed, which is nice. And then down here at the bottom, it tells me the time elapsed. So I like that feature as well. And then one thing that you typically don't see on treadmills is a pedometer. But this has a basic walking pedometer, which I also like if you're keeping track of your steps per day, and then of course just distance right here, and it will tell you calories over to the side. So those are your basic metrics. They don't really change. It's not like you can adjust for other data, but they are pretty easy to see. And down here on the bottom, you have some quick tactile buttons. So let's say I want to quick pick it up to 4 miles an hour. It's going to jump to 4, and I can take it up to 6, all the way to 8. And then you do have intermediate buttons. So I'm going to let it get to 8, and you can increase it by, 0.1 to get it all the way up. There's your max speed of 9 miles an hour. So you can toggle through your songs right here, play and stop, and then you have your volume right there as well. An up speed button, a down speed button, and then your start and stop. So your safety key's up here at the top, and it's really easy to use. Obviously, if you remove it, the treadmill won't work. The only thing that I found a little funny with this is that the key doesn't really have a hook. Sometimes there will be a hook or something for the key to sit in. So if it's not attached, you can just drop it in that water bottle holder, but that's kind of it. So let's take a look at some of the functionality and the unique features of the Botorro R5. So as I mentioned, this treadmill is perfect for walking. I'm going to start at a nice, easy walking pace, just 2 miles an hour. And you can just kind of listen. The motor noise is very subtle, and I really do like the texture of the belt. I just feel like you don't get that swooshing noise that sometimes you get with a treadmill belt. So taking it up to 2 miles an hour, we're just going to do a nice, easy walking pace right here. Now, one thing this treadmill does have is a safety feature. So if I step off, even if I'm on the side rails, if I step off that belt for more than 30 seconds, it will automatically stop. And I really do like that safety feature. I think that's very useful, even if you're doing like, intervals or whatever. If you typically don't need more than 30 seconds off the belt. So I like that safety feature. And the numbers are really easy. So I'm going to kick it up to, this is a brisker pace, about 4 miles an hour. So if you were in a shared room with somebody walking a quick pace, this would be about the noise that you would hear. So it's actually very, very subtle. All right, I'm going to kick it up to 6 miles an hour, do a quick run. So you can tell that motor, you just hardly hear it all. You got a little bit more foot noise just from the impact. And I'll take it up to 8 miles an hour. So a little faster. And we'll slow it back down. So this treadmill doesn't have incline and decline. So you can't incline it to do hill work or anything, but I really feel like it's very stable, it's very quiet, and it's easy to use. So one thing that the Botorro R5 does that's unique is you can adjust the height of the handlebars. So let me show you how to do that. There's little pegs on the side, and you can see that it does have a hydraulic system right here. So you just pull these pins out, and you can actually lower those handlebars, okay? So if you had a user that was maybe smaller, quite petite, or you know, like a teenager or an older child, you could use this to work so that they weren't overwhelmed by a large treadmill. So I actually have a friend today that I brought in, and she's going to demo the height of a smaller user on this machine. This is my friend Scout, and she is 4'7". So that kind of gives you an idea of the size and the scale of the Botorro R5. So I'm going to show you the different heights of the handrails. So I can drop them even more if I want to. So right now you can see the angle, they're not full height. So that's full height. Okay, Scout, why don't we drop them just a little bit? Where's comfortable? Right there? You want that like that? Okay. Now we're going to turn it on, and I want to see if you can still get a full walking stride up underneath that. Are you ready? Okay, when you're ready, hit start. Okay. So just start walking. All right, hands free, let your hands swing a little bit. Okay, so do you feel like you have enough room? Yeah? What if we pick up that speed just a little bit? I'm gonna let you choose. You add a little more speed. Keep going. How does that feel? Why don't you take it up to just like 2.5 miles an hour? There you go. Okay, walk for a second. All right. So Scout is 4'7", and we've dropped those handlebars quite a bit. You can see they're down quite a bit. And she still has some good foot room, and she's a lot closer to that console than she would be otherwise. Do you want to go any faster than that? Should we try 4 miles an hour? Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna let you hit it, and then let's see if you want to run real quick. You want to run? There you go. Okay, so she still does seem to have pretty good foot room. She's able to be right in front of that console where she wants to be, and it's very quiet. All right, go ahead and hit stop. And it's going to slow down nice and easy. So I do like the fact that this is adjustable for smaller users. I think that's a really handy feature. If you have somebody who's maybe an older youth or a small adult, this really does provide options where you can adjust the height. So I'm 5'5", and this works great for me. We're gonna bring out our 6'5" user and have him test this out, and we'll see what he thinks of it. All right, here we've got Matthew on the treadmill. He is 6'5" and about 230 pounds. So he's getting closer to that max capacity of 265 pounds, but he still has, plenty of room for walking. So we're gonna have him demo walking and running at a moderate pace and then running a little faster. So right now we're at 2.5 miles an hour. So let's pick that up. Do you wanna do like a quick walking pace? Okay, so we'll bump it up to 4 miles an hour and maybe do a faster walking pace right here. So I would say that based on his stride length, this is just about max capacity for Matthew. I probably wouldn't recommend anything smaller than this, but he does have, plenty of stride length in the front and just a touch of kickback right there. All right, let's try running. Let's take it up to 6 miles an hour. So this is just a very moderate running pace. As you can see, it really is impressively quiet. That is something that I was surprised by this machine. It's very quiet, and it really doesn't feel cheap as you're running on it. It does have that 14 shock absorption system under the deck. And even though it is compact, the 50 inches of length does give you just barely enough space so that you can run a moderate pace. All right, you wanna go faster? Let's go up to 8. All right, 8 miles an hour. So just a touch more noise. You can see a little bit of give there under the deck. There we go, that's perfect. So let me demo how to fold and move the Botorro R5. It's very easy. The first thing that you want to do is unplug the machine. The plug goes into the back of the machine in such a way that you won't be able to roll it or move it if it's plugged in. So always make sure it's unplugged from your wall and then you're gonna need to unplug it from the base of the machine. So take that plug out, store it in a safe place, and then even if you've unplugged it, make sure that your safety switch is off. Okay, your safety switch or your power switch should always be off. You've got those two levers on the side, the same that you use to lower those handlebars. You're just gonna pull those levers out, and then to fold it, step up on the side rails. Don't step on the belt because it can move. Step up on the side rails and just gently lower that down. So you can see how low that goes. It drops to just 8 inches in height, and then just fold that console down like that. The other thing I like about this machine is it does have front wheels, and you've got a rear bar to grab right there. So you can grab and roll it quite easily. It's 115 pounds, which is certainly light for a treadmill, but it can still be heavy to lift. So we recommend, making sure that you have sufficient strength if you plan to use the machine. And then once you're done, when you're ready to use it, to unfold it is the same system. So step on the side rails, not on the belt. You're gonna lean down, just pull up to about 3/4 of the way up, and the hydraulic system will do the rest. Make sure that you close both of those pins so that those handrails are locked into position. Readjust your console, and then you're gonna wanna plug it in again and turn it on. So as you can see, this really is a compact treadmill that provides different options for different sized users. It will work for children, youth, adults. It has a very simple console. This is great, just hop on and go. And I really like the fact that it has the safety stop. So if you step off the treadmill for 30 seconds, the belt will automatically stop. So we do recommend this for walking. It really just is kind of limited for people who plan to run. You might not have enough motor speed, you might not have enough deck room. If you're a distance runner, we'd probably recommend something a little bigger. This is best suited for people who want something simple. If you're looking for subscription content, it's not going to be integrated into this machine, but you could always use a tablet and then use whatever training app you prefer. If you'd like more information about the Botorro R5, check out our detailed written review at treadmillreviewguru.com. For current pricing, click the link below. And as always, we'd love to know what you think. Leave us a comment. If you liked this video, make sure to subscribe and give us a thumbs up. My name's Kristen with Treadmill Review Guru, and we'll see you again soon.